Welcome to USMLE Sarthi. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this special webinar that we have today. Today we are going to talk about mid-season strategy for the interviews. So many of you may have several interviews, many of you may still be looking for interviews. So today we have a very esteemed panel of speakers that will talk about what you can do at this time to get more interviews, number one. Second, how do you communicate with the programs post interview? So many of you who already have done interviews. Third, how do you make sure that your profile is differentiated from other applicants? What can you do still to network with the programs and have a successful match? So all of this we'll be discussing today, and our speakers today are all Sarthi students who have done Sarthi courses, Sarthi programs, and they'll be sharing their tips and their experiences with you. So without further ado, let's talk about your introduction and you're talking about following up after interviews.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name is again Inban Pugazendi. I'm one of the first year residents from one of the New York Medical College programs, St. Clair and St. Mary's in New Jersey. So very happy to be here. Thank you, Pawan, for having me here, and my greetings to all of you here. I hope that the season has been going good to all of you. Even if you don't have a lot of interviews, hang in tight. We still have a lot of time. Just keep doing the basics things right. Okay, things will fall in place. So just to talk about some of the agendas of this webinar regarding follow-up emails or post-interview email, there are some 2 or 3 things which you need to keep in mind when you are sending these follow-up emails. First thing is that keep it really simple. The program directors or coordinators are really busy, during this interview season. So it's important that you keep it short and crisp for them to take a note. If there is anything special or particular that happened during the interview, try to highlight on that aspect, so that they'll kind of recall who you are or what happened during the interview. That will be easy for the program directors to kind of give an evaluation. So in my case, like when I matched into this program, I did in rotation there. And then in the interview as well, we kind of talked about what I did during the rotation and all that. So I kind of sent a follow-up email about what I did during the rotation. And, just I tried to revolve around that. I'm not sure if they did really have a look at that or not, but there's no harm in really sending such emails. And again, basics, keep your grammatical errors away. Try to make sure that the email is well crafted and make sure that the spellings of the program directors are absolutely correct and use their last name to address. Those are some of the basic things that you need to follow up. And if you really have some genuine questions, go ahead and ask that. Don't hesitate to ask that. People here, they really have this knack of helping if you have some genuine questions. So do not hesitate if you really have some genuine questions. And then do not keep sending emails after the interview, like every month about something that will kind of put you in an irritating position. So rather send one immediately after the interview. I would say if you have had the interview today, make sure that the email reaches them the next day morning. Usually people here check the emails first thing in the morning. So make sure that you send an email immediately after the interview so that it is available for them to read it the next morning. And again, the follow-up email can be sent around, I would say, January, because November, post-Thanksgiving, December, they'll be kind of busy with Christmas and all that. So January is the time when people get back to work and think about ranking and all that. So send a follow-up email around January. Follow up with someone who might have recommended you to the program to send an email as well. Those are some things which you can do. And then the other thing is being prepared for some of the unexpected questions. I would say one of the keys of answering these unprepared questions is to actually prepare for the common questions well, because you never know what kind of questions will be thrown at you, during interviews. But what can help you answer these unexpected questions well is about your confidence. So in order to have the confidence, prepare well for the common questions, tell me about yourself, why internal medicine, why this program, you would have obviously practiced all these questions with Sarthi. So prepare for these questions very well. It's not that the entire interview is going to have unexpected questions. So that when you have the confidence high, you'll have the ability to answer these unexpected questions really well. I remember during one of my interviews, one of the program directors, asked me to start talking about some random things. He just told me this, talk about a random thing for a minute. This is what he told me. So you never know. The program directors might get bored about the interviews and they might have to have some fun. So just stay calm in these situations. Once you are into the interview, they're already considering you as a prospective candidate for their program. So just stay calm, just stay confident, and then talk. That'll make life easier. Otherwise, yeah, stay calm, be prepared, and just be professional. Make sure that whenever you're sending an email, do not have any spelling mistakes or all that. So just keep the basic things right, and then prepare well for the interviews. So those are some of the inputs from me. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out in my Gmail. Obviously, maybe Aditi and Mr. Pawan can give you my email. I don't have any objection in that. So feel
Yeah,
free to
so
reach out.
we'll probably want them to go through us, otherwise they'll bombard you. But
Yeah.
so on the common mistakes, one is of course typo-free, grammatical error-free email. Then you said don't bug them every 2 to 3 weeks. That's fine. Are there any other common mistakes that you've seen post-interview?
Yeah, so post interview, some of the common mistakes that I would say is, people usually they have this tendency to, send a follow-up emails to some of the residents and all that. Even I thought that that would be helpful during my season as well, but that would kind of show a desperation that you have for the program. Like I said, if you really have some genuine questions, you can reach out. And then if not, when you keep reaching out to people through social media platforms, or if you have their personal numbers or personal emails by any chance, do not send emails or something like, hey, what happened to the status, is the program started ranking, because you never know. Some of these residents might also be the deciding factor when it comes to ranking. So if you're trying to reach out some of the residents or the program director, someone through the platforms other than email, make sure that you really know the person well. If you know the program director beforehand, or if you know the resident, if he might be your alumni or someone that you know, then it's fine. But if he's someone who's really a stranger to you, then when you're reaching out to them, be really professional and careful. Or rather, I would say, do not reach out at all. Just keep it to email. Anything out of the email in the US is considered as bugging. Even when we're working as residents, we really hesitate to send personal messages to their mobile number, because here they consider it, really, really private. So when you're reaching out through social media platforms or anything other than email, just be very careful. That can actually backfire. So if you are really following up someone after your interview, then I would say just be very careful about that. That is something that I've commonly seen. And again, like I mentioned, people keep sending emails every now and then out of anxiety. I understand it's common, but again, just stay calm in the situation. You've done your part, results will follow. So just do not keep thinking about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Inban. Appreciate your time, and
course.
I know you're busy, so feel free. As a resident's life is busy, so if you need to
Yeah,
leave, thank you. Appreciate your
sure.
time, and
Thank you. My pleasure. Yeah.
thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Our next speaker is Dr. Rohit Varanasi, and he actually is psychiatry, so he matched in psych. So, Rohit, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself and tips for the mid-season match?
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Pawan. Thanks to the Sarthi team. And I was in a similar situation last year, and they helped me through the process. And this year, I have matched in psychiatry. It is in Willis Knighton in Louisiana, Shreveport. It's a new program. I did a rotation here, and that's how I came back here. And as we know, psych is getting competitive, so you should do everything that's possible, that's within your reach to in order to maximize your chances. For an IMG, the last 3 years, it's been about 5% chance. So if some of you match, you should be proud that you're in that 5%. So let's get into some of the important topics that you can actually do to make yourself stand out, and a few other things related to that. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is standing out among applicants with similar profiles. So when you went through the ERAS process, you must have seen that there is a research section, there is a experiences section, and rotations, and many other things. So one way that you can stand out among all the applicants is that try to I mean, by now you will already know, but remember which is your biggest strength. Is it rotations? Is it your scores? Is it your research experience? Is it conferences you have presented at, or something out of medical school that you have done, volunteering, whatever? That should be something that you highlight in the program, because that is the way you can talk more about it. You can show that you have something that others don't have, and then not in a bad way, in a humble way. And then there will be and obviously preferably things which are related to your field that you're applying for. That way you will benefit the most and make you stand out. For example, I had excellent rotations throughout psychiatry. I did about 5 or 6 for inpatient, one outpatient, and then rotations in psychiatry in different states in the US. So I made sure that in all my interviews, I highlighted that, and I was actually made the team lead in all those rotations. I highlighted that, and then I told them what kind of work I was involved with, the EMR and all that. So that was very impressive. Now, if there is some section that you're not very confident about, that's okay. As long as you have, let's say, research, you're not very good with that. Let's say you had only 1 or 2 projects. You don't have to go unless they ask you about it. You don't have to feel guilty that, maybe I need to talk about it or something like that. So talk about what your strengths are. So, and make that the focus of the interview, because usually the interviews go in the direction that you want it to go. It's not in the direction that the interviewer wants it to go. So that actually leads me to the some of the other points. Strategies if unsure about an interview's outcome, and highlighting strengths without appearing overconfident. So, as I was mentioning, the interview goes in the direction that you want it to go. So, see, most interviews are about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you'll have about four interviewers or so. That's the typical method it's arranged. Many times, they do not get to ask questions that you are actually strong in. Let's say you have a hobby related to psychiatry or a volunteer experience, and maybe a volunteer topic never came in the interview. So that means what you wanted to convey, what you have that others don't have, has not even been conveyed. So it is important that whatever question they ask you, you have to find a way to fit in that and tell them that particular thing. This happened to me in multiple interviews. Now, I volunteered for CMHA, Canadian Mental Health Association. It is very related to psychiatry. I did it for 3 years. Now, many interviews, volunteer topic never came up. But when they asked me, talk about your experiences, yes, I did talk about my rotations and stuff. But I talked in a lot of the interviews, introduced this volunteering experience just to show that, like, I'm not doing all this only for medical school or matching. I have a passion outside of medical school and in psychiatry, which helped me, like many people were impressed with that. So, and the interview goes in the direction that you want. So make it go in the direction of your rotations, your research, your volunteering, whichever you're strong in, and add in things that you want to convey in whatever question they put forth, and so that everything that you want to say is conveyed to them in some or the other question. And then uh, connecting with the residents post interview, how and why. So uh, you will, as I think our previous speaker was saying, you will have to send thank you notes. You will have to send letter of intention, interest. I mean, intention. Interest is before, and intention is after the interview. But as our colleague was mentioning, don't bombard them with too many emails. One or two is okay, but make sure you do send them though. The reason is because see, we don't do something assuming that it will get us something. The normal guy thinks, maybe this is not going to help me, so let me not send it. Realize that you never know when there will be a second look. Many interviews offer second looks after in January, February. Now, if you have already established the connection, if you have been talking to them, the residents, or through other platforms, then you already have an edge over the others because you have been sending thank you notes, letter of intention, you've connected on Instagram. Maybe there was a hobby common to you and the resident, you already connected. So you will be remembered. And in many programs, they do ask the feedback of residents, like, do you have anyone in mind that you think is really good? That's when your networking, you're keeping in touch, wishing them happy new year. I did that to people who interviewed me. Don't overdo it, but obviously new year is there in everyone's interview season, so you can wish them happy new year just to stay in touch. And that's one way you can continue being in touch with them. And interviews about, okay, one thing that interviews about interviews outcome highlighting strengths. Yeah, one thing that I needed to I wanted to talk about is presenting yourself in the interviews. So, I mean, the basic things, that, make sure the lighting is good and then you're seen visibly, and all those things. Now, it is very important that you hear them clearly. I always was in doubt whether wearing headphones was okay. And, but I did that for all the many interviews that I had. In fact, they are those big headsets, the Bose ones. So, don't think that they'll think awkward or whatever it's comfortable, they'll understand. In fact, many times they themselves wore those big headsets. So it is important to hear them clearly. Sometimes the connection is not clear, sometimes their accent is not that great, or sometimes maybe your accent is not that good. You want them, whatever the scenario is, or sometimes with the internet, Wi-Fi, whatever, make sure that you wear whatever you feel comfortable in order to deliver and understand what they're speaking. And one thing I always, actually, I am doing now meet and greets for my own residency program. We are involved with that. And I always tell one thing about the interview. I had one interview where the entire video went out. And the first thing you need to do is you need to call the coordinator and keep those numbers handy. Don't start looking for them if something happens. Now, no matter what the coordinator did, the video didn't come back. Now, you're not going to be given a second opportunity. So make sure that you do your best with what you have. And you'll be dealing with audio. Tell them, make that weakness your strength. You're like, in I added some joke, like in psychiatry, sometimes we don't have all the resources, and people, get psychotic, and we have to deal with in adverse situations. So I just said we have to deal with this. So I turned the table and I said that because in my mind the guilt was running that maybe I am now at a disadvantage. Now, it's like my defense mechanism. I have to say that, I have to convey, and then I continued. And do your best. And after the interview, don't dwell that, oh, maybe I could have done better if the video. No. What those thoughts are, going to disappear by February. So do your best with what you have. And obviously dress very well. And and this people advise me, when you are dressing, whether man or boy or girl, dress as if you're very professionally, of course. But when you go on a date, you want to look your best, you want to please the other person. And that is that whole same here as well. In the professional attire, dress your best, make sure you look your best, because they take everything into consideration, not just your scores or everything. They take your communication, how you deal with it. Let's say they put a stressful question, put forth a stressful question, how do you handle that? And so that's about the interview thing. And one last piece of thing is valuable advice for the residency application journey. um, the only advice that helped me through this whole process is, it is a very tough process, obviously, and your motivation, your hope, and your desire is what is going to drive you towards the end. Many friends that you have, I mean, not the close ones, the well-wishers will always be with you. Many acquaintances that you have, or many people around you, or even your own family members, or you yourself may start doubting yourself, and you start losing hope. Don't let that happen, because there were many times, except me and my shadow, literally no one had belief that this is going to happen. That's the level of depth you may go down to. But keep looking at the end of the tunnel, keep imagining, and seeing what's going to come at the end of it. And that's one way you can visualize the positivity that's there at the other end, and keep pushing through the process and remain positive irrespective of what it can be. And keep going through. And I also want to add, do not try to game this algorithm system. There is no magic to it. When it comes to ranking, what you really like is what you need to put first, because I learned it the hard way, trying to do guesswork, who is going to rank me and all that. Whether you rank even if somebody hypothetically promises you that I'll give you the residency, even if you rank them first or fourth, your chances do not change. So no matter, people told me, I didn't believe it, but later on, after speaking to Sarthi, some specialists in the field, I really understood it towards the very end. And then I changed my whole thing. Like, now, what do I really like? So as IMGs, we live in fear. Don't let that affect you. Be confident and carry that confidence throughout the interview, irrespective of whether you're IMG or a US grad, it doesn't matter. So good luck with everything. And I hope to, see you all match somewhere this year. And maybe if somebody matches in my program, then good luck with that too.
Well, thank you, Rohit. Much appreciate your motivating tips for the IMGs. So thank you, and
you.
I'll see you soon sometimes.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. And now we have Aseel, our student and very old graduate. So Aseel, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a bit about your journey? How did you stay motivated as an old YOG and some of the other things?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Pawan, for having me today. I was one of your students. My name is Aseel. I am recently graduated from the internal medicine residency at Cornell Health in Michigan, and I am doing geriatric fellowship at the time being at the same institution for Cornell Health. So today I will just give you a few tips about strategies, how to leave good impressions, strong impression during the interview. This is very important. Whether you are old grad or recent grad, there are a lot of applicants and there are a lot of similar profiles. So you need to be remembered well so they can remember you. So first, like some strategies to leave that, first of all, you need to smile and you need to be respectful. So confident and humble at the same time. So this is very important. And also dress well. I think some points are already mentioned, so I will just go quickly over them. So be familiar with the Zoom, with the team platform, with your device, with the video and the speaker. This is give also good impression. Put like a nice, neat background. This is very important. Dress well, and most psychologists here in study in United States, they say like navy blue has good impression in the interview. So it is better than black. It is not better than gray. So just wear like a navy blue blazer or navy blue suits. Always be positive during the interview. There are a lot of sad stories, sad things, and the things happen. So even if you get, for example, my interview were in COVID time, and always bad stories and sad stories, I always just turn it around to positive. For example, if any sad story, talk about the positive thing, how we support each other at this time, how we help each other. So any situation, just turn it to positive. They like a positive resident in the future. So I'll avoid talking about any negative issues. Other important thing is to get advantage of every single step in the interview, whether preparation, before interview, during interview, and after interview. So during the interview, you need to, if you ask a question about a program, if you want to be remembered, you ask a specific question regarding your background. For example, if you have academic background, I use personally, ask about the teaching opportunity. How is this interaction? Because after that, when the interview answer you can put your background and comment on his answer. So anything that it was not mentioned, any experience that you have, you can mention it. So that you will be remembered. How do you fit for this question? If you are good in procedures, for example, if you know how to do ultrasound, ask about these opportunities. And after that, mention your ability to do that. This will also to be remembered in this question. You can still, if you don't have, like, how do you evaluate the program? They are not wrong. They are good questions. They are asked, but they will not remember that. They will remember the question specifically for you because you really have this Always the program director, they want some resident who will contribute to the program. Not only learning, but also contributing the past experience to the program to improve the program. This will be remembered. Other thing I also ask is like some uncommon questions. For example, I was asked, tell me a story or tell me something non-medicine. This is also important. So always they want to know how is your thought process and how are you able to concise long story in 1 minute? Because this is very important in the residency. The attending come and they want you to give them 3 lines about a patient. So also they want to see your communication skills and your language. So always prepare a paragraph with good grammar, good story, just to mention anything. So this is very important. This is also get advantage for that. Every single question get advantage for it. And also be prepared about any updates in medicine. For example, any specialty, like what is the trend in medicine right now? For example, now in US, they always talk about AI, like AI in medicine. How do we apply? Is it good or bad? What application? So if you be prepared and have these stories, just it might come, and this will remember. If you tell them about like an application, or if you teach them something, or if you are updated on what's going on, any conference you attend, and then you mention it, they will remember you for sure. Other thing, my personal experience is all year of graduation. This is considered as red flag. Actually, how I deal with it, because I didn't have any gap. So what I consider it as a strength, not weakness. So from the beginning, I was telling them, even in the tell me about yourself question, I have more than 10 years of clinical experience. So I was just confident that I am experienced. But at the same time, you need to be very careful not to be overconfident. So, because they will ask you, you will have your residency again. Don't say, yes, I have to get my license. No, you say you need to mention and that you are very eager to get this opportunity to be stronger physician. This is your dream and you get it right now. And you are very eager to start and to learn, because you will have a resident who are like your senior will be younger than you, or your attending even younger than you. So you need to be very humble and eager to learn from them. And you are lifetime learner, and you are very eager to develop yourself and become a stronger physician. But if you have a gap, do not mention that unless they ask you. Don't say, I am all the garage. No, this is unless they ask you. And there is very important point when they ask you about red flag, because I saw it in the resident when they do an interview. All of a sudden, the energy will be low, the voice will be low, and no, don't do that. So just maintain your energy, maintain your positivity when you ask about red flag. They know you, and there is no CV is perfect. We all have bad things in the CV or gaps. So just maintain your positivity. They invited you. So be sure that they are okay with that, because they invited you already. But they want you to give them a professional answer specific for your situation to convince them. Do they say okay for that? So just keep this in mind. This is like some tips just to be remembered in your interview, to leave the strong impression, and how to deal with a specific situation. And each applicant should be different from others. So like the question you ask is different if you are all the grad or if you are just graduated. Everything should be specified according to your CV and your personal statement. After the interview, what are the strategies to stay motivated? So I feel some advice for you to stay focused on you are doing. If you are doing rotation, stay focused on that, engage that. This will distract you from overthinking. Be productive. other advice like healthy lifestyle, and also take advantage of this time to be prepared for the second stage. For example, the soap. So prepare yourself to be well prepared, because anything can happen. So you might be matched, you might not. Being prepared will relieve your anxiety. So whatever, if you don't match, we have the soap. If you don't, we have also what will you do? Other strategy, just to also prepare yourself for relocation, for moving to different state. All these need to be prepared and so decrease anxiety. So just be your thinking with a productive thing. Enjoy your time, enjoy your hobbies. And this time you had a great job reaching that. You worked hard. So just give yourself time for yourself. Go have a picnic, enjoy the different beautiful states. Other than that, also stay connected with your peers at the same boat. This will give you also emotional support. You are not alone in this situation, and put plan A, plan B, plan C, everything, and you will match, all of us. So I was told, I was keeping away from negative people. You are all the grudge, you will not match. But if you believe in yourself and you're doing really hard what you did, I'm sure you all did, and you are well prepared in every single step of this application, you will match and you get it. And last minute before the interview, just like if you have just interview in 5 minutes, put back in your mind all the strength and achievement. Don't think about anything negative in your CV. Just put in your mind your achievements, your goals, your strength, and how good you are before starting the interview. This will boost your energy up. And I hope you will all match, and you will be great future residents and attendings.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Aseel. And I'm
Sure.
very, very proud. As an old graduate, you didn't let that impact you, and you matched successfully. Although I'm very sad you had to leave Arizona, but
I appreciate you, Sarthi, for your guidance. So you guide me in every single step in this process, and I owe you all the successful match I have. And I wish we will see together. We don't know where we will go.
Yep, yep. But thank you, and good luck in your fellowship.
Thank you very much. It was so nice. And thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. And our next speaker is Mekhail. Mario also was a Sarthi student. Mario, so why don't you introduce yourself and talk a bit about your journey and anything else? I think you had the questions that you wanted to talk about as well. So welcome, and the floor is yours.
Hi, Pawan. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Mario, as you can all see. I am an international medical graduate, also used to be a Sarthi student. I believe I joined Sarthi in 2021. And I'm currently an internal medicine resident, third year, and I'm also applying for fellowship. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me again. My question that I'm supposed to be giving some tips on today will be, first, how to effectively communicate with a program as your top choice. So your research when you prepare for the applications, you have like a priority. You usually see that a program is like you are living close to, or you have been doing maybe a rotation in, or have some friends or colleagues there. And then you basically have to, when you get the interview, first of all, you thank them for this, because here in US you have to be very cautious, or very I would say very I don't know the word exactly, but maybe like very careful with your interactions, because every interaction is counted. So saying thank you for every email you get goes along, because they put this in consideration too, that you are appreciating for everything they are doing. And then during the interview, you have to mention why you consider them to be your priority. It's really interesting because according to the ACGME requirement, the program directors or the interviewers are not supposed to say that they are ranking you high, but it's okay for you to tell them that you are prioritizing them or putting them in the top of your list. That's not a bad strategy, and program directors brag or tend to be proud about themselves that they ranked someone that ranked them high. So if you tell them, I'm gonna rank you high, and then also send them a thank you email after the interview and say, my intention, or it's still my obligation to rank you on the top of my list, that's also okay for them as per the CME. But it's not appropriate to do that with all the programs because it might fire back, and then you could like have a program that rank you higher, and then if this program does not rank you high, the one that you are prioritizing, you would go to a program that's not the one you like. And in regards of the question about how to network, and this is a very important part of the process for the match. And hello?
Yes, Dr. Mario, we can hear you.
Okay, I thought that I lost you. All right. So in regard of the networking, which is a very vital and important part of the match, I feel like nowadays, because of the people hoarding interviews, especially the IMGs, it's very important to keep a very great network around you. And that's not an easy thing to be done. But when you search a program, for example, let's say you do search a program and you find maybe one of your colleagues. Or another way to do this is also when you do a rotation and you meet with the residents there, try to build a rapport with them. Try to like build a connection, get their email address and keep in connection with them, or phone number. One thing also is when you search the programs, if you see the pictures of the residents there and you find someone that you can like feel like is related to you by somehow from the same college, same country, or even some of your friends know them. Also, when you get an interview also, and you mentioned that this connection is related to you, that goes along the way because it counts like you are related or deeply rooted to the program itself, which is very important thing and positive thing that they put in your scoring, because every interview you do, the interviewers give you a scoring. Hello? Did I lose you?
Yeah, no, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that gets you high score if you put a connection to the program, which is very also valuable. And how to prepare for the program specific question, I think if you think about putting yourself in the shoe of a program director, how would you choose the candidate? How would you like your candidate to be? You want your candidate to do the homework. You want to know that this candidate is someone that's appreciative to your program. That's not gonna come by and just get into residency and graduate and then will be a complainer or say bad stuff. They want to know that you are very happy to be doing this, because residency itself is tough. So it's a long journey, 2-3 years. You will be with them for 3 years. They will be with you for 3 years. They want to make sure that you will be a person that they can get along with. So when you prepare this question about ask me a question, or what do you want to ask me? This is a question that gets scored by the interviewer, because the more you ask a personal question or a question related to the program or a question that showed that you did your homework and are not asking the cliche questions. Like, for example, one of the questions that usually people ask and the program directors are like very aware about is, where does your fellows or residents go after residency? Which is something that you can search or find, but it's not a bad question, but you can ask like more personal question. Like if a program director, for example, let's say has done residency before, and then you in his home country, if he's an IMG too, for example, or has a military background too, like worked in the military, and you ask him about how do you what's the difference between working in the military and the civilian work, for example, that tells him that you did your research. Or if he has a publication that is a landmark study or has been part of a huge study that was published in New England Journal of Medicine, and he's proud about it and put it in his biography, for example, and you ask him about this, but you also did some research and read about the study a little bit, that goes along because it shows that you are interested, you are invested, and you are also someone that do his homework. A very also tough time with the virtual interviews is having technical issues, network drops in the middle of interviews, voice cutting, or pictures freezing. It happened to me during one of the interviews that while I was interviewing, we lost electricity. So I tried to connect through my phone, and I wasn't able because I believe you were trying to connect with me. But at the end, we managed to do a FaceTime phone call. But it's a hectic moment. The best way to address this is to maintain your smile, stay positive, don't panic, don't feel cornered or hesitant. Acknowledge that this is a stressful moment. That's okay, that's fine. They don't mind that too, but don't feel like this is gonna affect your interview in a negative way, because they are aware about those technical issues. It's part of the virtual interviews, and you are not the first one and probably not the last one that have this. One time also I had a technical issue that my phone was I believe low in battery, and my network was not working, and then I emailed them and rescheduled another interview, which is okay too. They understand those circumstances. It's not uncommon, and it doesn't make you look bad as a candidate because it's out of your hand. I'm sure back on the days when interviews also was in person, they used to have air flight change timing, stuff like that, weather changes, and they are supposed to accommodate everyone. So don't feel panic if that happens with you. The most important thing about this process is to learn from everything and embrace every moment. Give yourselves the credit for everything, and be proud of yourself. But don't be arrogant. There's like a fine hair line between both, that you want to maintain, that people will find that they can get along with you, and probably give you the chance and the opportunity to match it. Good luck, everyone, and thank you for having me again.
Well, thank you, Mario. Appreciate. I know you are outside somewhere, so I appreciate very much taking time out during your busy residency schedule, and hopefully fellowship will work out very well for you, and you can be back again sometimes to help the IMGs. But I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me, and good luck, everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, so I can now take questions. Before I do that, I do have certain announcements, and I think I'll be remiss if I didn't show that. So one of them is, let me share my screen. I do want to talk about several things that can help you at this point. So one is, if you're still interested or looking for interview preparation, we do have some last minute interview preparation programs. So maybe Aditi, you can send this link in the chat. So very quick IV prep, or some of the other plans that we have. You can also get mocks. So go to this page that I'm showing, and it can help you last minute preparation if you guys are looking. So that's on interview preparation. We still have a lot of time. You will get access to, depending on the plan, all the recorded classes that we have done. So it's on demand. And otherwise, you have very affordable plans starting from about $300. So depending on what you need, take a look, and Aditi or Sonia from my team can send you that as well. Having said that, the other big thing for those of you who may not be applying this season, but next, is our campus ambassador program. So take a look at that, usmlesarthi.com/ambassador. This is something that will help you connect with us and help your fellow applicants, your college mates or others. You can promote about USMLE, and we'll obviously give you a lot of guidance, tips, discounts if you enroll with us and if you are selected as an ambassador. So the campus ambassador plan is also something that I wanted to let you know. Finally, many of you always reach out to us saying, okay, I want to do volunteering with a US-based nonprofit. So we have collaborated with an organization called Teen Heal that you can see on the screen. And this organization was started with high schoolers in the US, but we also have options for IMGs to join it. They are working at this point on social media addiction for adolescent kids, for young adults, strategies to how to overcome it. And they are planning a global webinar in March, April. So there are a lot of ways to associate with it. What you have to do is to join a WhatsApp group, and maybe Sonia, you can or Aditi, you can put that link for the WhatsApp group for Teen Heal. Once you join this group, again, completely free, and then you can decide what work stream you want to help them. And depending on your interest, depending on your contribution, there are opportunities to do research also. We are gathering a lot of data in this as part of the survey. So depending on what you end up doing, you can also get an LOR. A lot of my students got an LOR this past season, and that actually has been very well received in many interviews. So if you want an LOR, or if you are not in the US, or even if you are in the US, it can be done from any city. So take a look at Teen Heal, join the WhatsApp group that Sonia or Aditi are going to put the link to, and then we can help you join the organization. With that, let me see if you have any questions on whatever was presented earlier today. Anything on post-interview communication, anything on last-minute interview preparation, or anything else that you guys may have on residency match or interviews, or if you guys are applying next season. So let us know, and I'm here for a few minutes. If you have questions, type them away in the chat box, and I'll try to answer if you have. What is the advice you'll give to applicants in the match process who have not received any interview yet? So that is a very common question coming from Fatima, and it's a genuine concern, right? We are in the middle of the season with no interviews. So I think at this point, you have to understand what you can change and what you cannot change. Obviously, the LORs and the application, etc., cannot be changed. What you can probably change is communication with the program. So we've done a lot of other, YouTube, Zoom webinars on how to reach out to the programs, maybe also use LinkedIn, some of the other ways for outreach. That is one thing you can do, because you got about a month where you can still reach out to the programs. Some of the new programs are always open to interviewing applicants. Now, this would also be a good time to assess if you want to do step 3 or if there are any gaps. You probably cannot do it in the next 2 weeks, maybe take step 3 or others, but at least have a plan, tell the programs what you're trying to do. But yes, at this point, outreach will help you if you have no interviews. When will we send the letter of intent? The letter of interest and intent are different. So yes, are we able to send them separately? Yes, you are. So interest is probably, so there are 3 things. One is a letter of interest. Letter of interest are typically you send them when you are looking for the interview. Then the second thing is after the interview, you send that thank you email, that we discussed today. Letter of intent is the final push in this journey. So probably January or Feb, when expectedly you would have interviewed at a lot of places, you would have decided that, yes, I want to rank this program on the top. So that is the intent. And we'll have a webinar on letter of intent also later, but that comes probably in January. I would say it is early in the season to send letter of intent because you are still interviewing, right? So you may not have decided what your top program is. So wait on that. That comes out in January or later. Okay. All right. Any other question that I can answer at this time? All right, if there are no other questions, like Sonia and Aditi are posting this link if you are interested in rotation. So yes, that's another thing I did want to bring out. Those of you who are planning for rotations for the next season, many of our preceptors are offering attractive discounts. December, January is generally lighter. It can actually get to your advantage because there are not many IMGs rotating at this point. So for example, one of the family medicine rotations, Dr. Gohil, is offering $250 between January and March. So those of you who are interested, Aditi just posted that link. Take a look at that. In fact, you should take a look at all the discounts that are being offered. So let me also share that link. You can yourself go and see. Let me share this again, just so that if you are interested in discounts on the rotations, and we keep updating it. So if you go to this page, usmlesarthi.com/clinical rotations, hopefully you can all see this. Under this, check out the Sarthi rotations. There is this link, looking for rotations and all that, looking for discounts. And if you click on this, you will get to a Google sheet where you can see all the discounts and the validity of those discounts. So that's what Aditi was just showing. So this is actually a good time if you are looking for rotations, if you can travel, like $500 off, $250 off. So very, very attractive discounts if you are interested and looking for next season. So with that, okay, let me take one last question. How does my failed step 1 attempt affect my chances of matching in IM? So attempt is a big flag. There's no doubt about it, and especially in internal medicine. However, all is not lost. A lot of our students do end up matching in IM after the failure. So one, to review your profile completely, I think we'll need more details. So your year of graduation scores, etc. And you don't have to put it in the chat. Sonia or Aditi can send you the link for booking a profile review. Either I'll do it or someone from my team will set up time with you if you click on that. But basically, obviously very high CK scores. US-based research can also help you. US research can overcome some of the attempt-related red flags, and we do have research called Innovative Research Collaboration. This research program also gives you LOR in addition to publication. So you work with a faculty who trained at Harvard, Ames graduate as well, and they will give you an LOR as well. So take a look at that research program. So Sonia, maybe you can put that link to IRC research. So for those of you who are older YOGs, also there are a lot of things that we can help you with. Working on the CV is always a good idea. Research, rotations, especially US-based research and high scores. If you're an older graduate, step 3 always helps. We have research and remote programs. We can also possibly get you an on-site research program. We are working through some of the details, but take a look at this research that Aditi just shared with you. They are offering discounts as well. Okay. All right. With that, thank you all for your attendance. I hope it was useful, and I will see you then in one of our next webinars. Thank you, and have a good weekend, all of you.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.